Hi, cousins, and welcome back to another episode of the Sunday Reset Podcast. I'm your host, Alicia J, and I'm so glad that you came to spend a few minutes of time to be with me here today. I see you're growing and you're glowing, and I love this look on you, but it's time for you to let go of that baggage. Yeah, we're not trying to be a bag lady out here or a hobo, carrying around all that weight of our past mistakes and our past decisions and our past traumas into our future. We're not going to do that anymore. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. But this week's episode is Let Go of That Baggage, and our weekly scripture comes from Jeremiah chapter 43, verses 18 through 19, and it says, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." So, what does this mean in relation to our episode? And how does this paint the picture to position us for success in the future? We're going to talk about those things, and we're also going to talk about why this is a theme for today's video. And so I was going to make a 4-part series anyways, about self-sabotage, and so this is part 2, but the theme for today's video was inspired from a conversation I had earlier in the week with a coworker, and she was talking about how burnt out that she felt and how stagnated that she felt, being in the position that she's in currently. She's been there in that role for about a year or so, and we were having a conversation about how past experiences at that particular place of work really have left kind of like a sour taste in her mouth. But when I was having this conversation with her, I kind of like picked up a couple of key themes. Like, she felt like those experiences really hindered her from making better choices with regards to taking charge of her career, and the next steps that she would need to take kind of were blinded to her in a way or in a sense, because she was so focused on how she felt, how that experience had made her feel, but not really focused on what she could do to move past that. And so I sat there and I thought about it and was like, you sound like a hobo. You know, the hobo with the stick and the handkerchief, those are called bindles. I said, you need to bindle up all that trauma, bindle up all that hurt and all that pain, and let it go. Stop carrying around that bundle of hurt and pain into your new spaces and opportunities, and expecting for you to have 100% of your strength to put 100% of yourself forward for success, when you're using all your strength and your focus to hold on to them belongings that you have from your past experiences. I said, you're not ready. You're not ready to receive those opportunities and those blessings because you're so focused and pent up over the past experiences that you've been through. And she was like, you're funny. But I'm like, I'm serious. Like, you're a hobo. And thank you so much for listening so far. If you like what you hear or see, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel get out to more people like you. So yeah, I appreciate it all. But yeah, back to the video. Yeah, I said she was a hobo, but that was for comedic relief. But in all seriousness, she really does need to let that hurt go. And I feel like some of y'all need to let that hurt go too. And that hurt doesn't even have to be physical trauma. It could be about your pain or the desire to want to fix things that you've made mistakes on in the past. You can't focus on what the past you could have done, because the past you is already done. You're already moving into new spaces and new rooms and new doors of opportunities that your past you couldn't touch. It couldn't even reach. And so I think that sometimes we allow that fear and disappointment to take over what is supposed to be our joy, our success, our power. So I want to talk about the scripture just a little bit, and then I'll tell you how it kind of looks in your life and what you can kind of do to fix it. And so in the Bible verse, that very first line, it says, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. And God was explaining to the Israelites that even though He understands that, they've been through suffering, they've been through pain, and they've been through trauma, He's explaining to them like that as a whole, that experience does not define your journey. It may be a part of your journey, but it does not define you, and it does not define your success, because what He has planned for you is something greater. What He has in store for you is something greater, and He explains that to them. But also in that Bible verse, it kind of shines a light on how if we have that baggage, it kind of blinds us from seeing our success and our growth and our opportunities that are in front of us, because on that third line it says, now it springs up, do you not perceive it? This is after He says, see, I've done a new thing. He's done something new. He's brought something forth for the Israelites in this case, and they clearly couldn't see what was right in front of them, because again, they had their backs turned to their future. And essentially, when you're carrying all that pain and trauma and that little bindle like a little hobo, you're creating obstacles for yourself that really doesn't even need to be there. So let's talk about how this manifests in our life and what we can do to fix it. So in the last episode, I gave you 4 ways that you can self-sabotage. This episode, I'm going to give you 3 ways that it kind of shows up in your life that you kind of know that you are self-sabotaging. So one is energy drain. When we are self-sabotaging, it's really overwhelming us sometimes, because you're fighting against what is really supposed to be yours in the first place. Because you can't, and no one can take anything away from you that God is intending for you to have. And so you're fighting against the power that be at that point by instilling that fear of failure or that fear of success and being able to maintain it in your life. It's much easier to go with the flow of God than it is to go with your own flow. And so it causes an energy drain because you're not living in that light that God has set before you. And there's a popular scripture in Proverbs that says life and death is in the power of the tongue. And this is relevant because, like I said in the other video, that you want to attract positivity, so you need to speak positivity over your life. I don't want to say it's that simple, but that's what you would need to do. You can't keep speaking negative in your life and expecting positivity. It just doesn't work that way. And one of the last things that I wanted to leave with you before I close out is stagnation, which is the feeling of being stuck or actually being stuck. Sometimes when negative things happen to us, we sit in a zone full of pain, desperation, and anxiety, and what becomes familiar for us, it becomes comfortable for us. And what I want to leave with you is sometimes you have to step outside of that comfortability zone into that zone of uncomfortability to find and develop your blessings. So are you going to let that hurt go, or are you going to continue to carry that bundle down the highway of your failure? It's up to you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Sunday. Bye.